In my family, there was one rule we never broke. Not once. Not even by accident. We were never allowed to open Christmas presents before midnight. Other families opened them in the morning. Some did it right after dinner. But for us, midnight was the line. Anything before that was forbidden. I grew up hearing the same words every Christmas Eve. No presents until the clock strikes 12. My parents never explained why. They didn't joke about it. They didn't smile when they said it. They treated it like a law. The kind you don't ask questions about. As a kid, I assumed it was just some strange tradition. Something my grandparents passed down. Something harmless. But every year, as midnight got closer, my parents grew tense. My mother kept checking the clock. My father locked the basement door and made sure the front door was bolted. When I asked him why, he told me, just making sure everything stays where it belongs. I didn't understand that then. The year I broke the rule, I was 16, old enough to be curious, old enough to think rules like that were stupid. That Christmas Eve felt different from the start. The house was quiet in a way I couldn't explain. No wind outside, no distant traffic, just the low hum of the heater and the faint crackle of the fireplace. The tree stood in the corner of the living room, lights glowing softly, ornaments reflecting shadows that moved when nothing else did. Presents were already underneath, too many of them, more than usual, all wrapped in the same dull red paper. No tags, no handwriting, except for one. It sat slightly apart from the others, smaller, neater. My name was on it, not written with a pen, not printed. The letters looked pressed into the paper, uneven and deep, like someone had traced my name, using something sharp from the inside. I stared at it for a long time. I tried to convince myself it was a trick of the light, that my parents were messing with me, but the longer I looked, the more wrong it felt. At 11:47 p.m., my parents stepped into the kitchen. My mother told me to stay in the living room. My father's voice was tight when he said, "Do not touch the presents." I waited until I heard the sink running. My heart was pounding. I told myself I would just check the time on my phone. I told myself I wouldn't touch anything, but my hands were already moving. I picked up the gift with my name on it. It was warm, not room temperature, warm like skin. I froze. I almost dropped it. Then I heard something inside, not shifting, not rattling. A soft, slow movement, like something adjusting itself. The clock on the wall read 11:53. I should have put it back. I know that now. Instead, I tore the paper. Inside wasn't a box. There was no object, just a layer of dark cloth wrapped tightly around something that pulsed slightly in my hands. I peeled it back. Whatever was inside was alive. I felt it immediately. Warm, soft, breathing. I recoiled, and that's when it reacted. It twitched. Then it tightened, like it knew I had exposed it. I heard my mother scream from the kitchen. My father ran in, saw what I was holding, and went pale. He didn't yell. He didn't ask questions. He grabbed my wrist hard enough to hurt and forced the bundle back onto the floor. My mother started crying, repeating the same words over and over. It wasn't ready. It wasn't ready yet. The lights on the tree flickered. The fireplace went out in one sharp breath, like something had blown it from inside the room. The clock struck midnight. The sound was wrong. Too loud. Too slow. The thing on the floor moved again, stronger this time, and from somewhere inside the house, I heard a sound I had never heard before. A low, pleased hum. My father dragged the gift toward the front door. My mother opened it, and cold air rushed in, carrying the smell of snow and something rotten beneath it. They threw it outside and slammed the door shut just as something scratched against the wood from the other side. We didn't sleep that night. In the morning, the porch was empty. No gift, no paper, no footprints. My parents never spoke about it again. The rule still stands. Never open presents before midnight. And every year, no matter where I am, no matter whose house I'm in, I find a gift with my name on it, wrapped in red, waiting. In my family, midnight was sacred. That's how my mother always said it. Christmas didn't begin until the clock struck 12. No presents before, no exceptions, not even to look. Growing up, I never questioned it. The rule was as normal as the tree, the lights, the quiet snow outside. Every year we sat together in the living room, watching the clock, waiting. And every year, my parents watched us more closely than the clock itself. The year I broke the rule, I was 16. Old enough to think rules were just traditions, without reasons. That Christmas felt wrong from the start. The house was too quiet. No music playing, no laughter. Just the soft ticking of the clock on the wall and the glow of the tree lights reflecting off the windows like eyes. My parents sat stiffly on the couch. My mother kept glancing toward the hallway. My father's jaw was tight, his hands folded together like he was praying. Under the tree were fewer presents than usual. One of them stood out immediately. It was small, wrapped in plain brown paper. No ribbons, no tag I could see from where I sat. It didn't look like it belonged there. I kept staring at it. Every few minutes my mother noticed and cleared her throat softly, the way she always did when she was nervous. "Don't," she said once, without looking at me. I laughed it off. Midnight was still an hour away. I told myself I'd just take a closer look, just to see who it was for. When my parents went into the kitchen, I stood up. The room felt colder the moment I moved closer to the tree. The lights hummed softly. I crouched down and turned the small package slightly. That's when I saw the name. My name. But it wasn't written with a pen or marker. The letters looked pressed into the paper, uneven and deep, like they'd been formed slowly, deliberately, with something sharp but soft at the same time. My stomach tightened. I should have stopped. I didn't. I told myself I wasn't opening it. I was just checking. My fingers slid under the paper seam. It was warm, not room temperature, warm like skin. I froze. Then I heard it. A sound from inside the box. Not a movement, not a scratch. A slow, wet breathing. I dropped it. The box hit the floor with a dull thud, and something inside shifted. I staggered back just as my parents rushed in. The look on my mother's face when she saw the box on the floor still haunts me. She screamed my name like it hurt her to say it. My father didn't move at first. He just stared at the package. Then he whispered, "It's early." My mother grabbed me by the shoulder so hard it hurt. "Did you open it?" she asked. I couldn't speak. The box moved again, just slightly. My father stepped forward, his face pale. "It wasn't supposed to be opened yet," he said, more to himself than to us. The clock on the wall ticked louder than ever. The box began to tremble. A faint sound came from inside, like a muffled hum, almost melodic, almost like it was trying to sing. My mother covered her ears. "It knows," she whispered. My father grabbed the box and ran for the back door. Snow rushed in as he opened it. He threw the package into the yard and slammed the door shut, locking it. We stood there in silence, listening. The humming continued outside, slow and patient. When the clock finally struck midnight, it stopped. We never talked about that night again. The box was gone by morning. No footprints, no marks in the snow. Every Christmas since, my parents make the same rule very clear. Never open presents before midnight. And every year, there's one extra gift under the tree. Small, plain, with my name pressed into the paper. I've never touched it again. But sometimes, when the house is quiet and the lights are low, I swear I can feel the warmth coming from it, waiting